Hi everybody, this is Stephanie Biglin. This will be my second YouTube video in regards to my book, Little Girl Broken by TapePublishing.com. Today I wanted to talk about main part of my book, which is self-injury, self-harm. Again, this would be a trigger warning to anyone out there struggling with cutting themselves. I want to explain how self-injury is defined. A lot of people think it's supposed to draw attention to people to get attention, or for people to feel sorry for themselves. For some people that is the case. For other people like me, I would cover it up as best I could. I would use it as my coping mechanism. If I felt hurt, if I was hurt in any way, such as being molested and things like that, I would release the tension inside of me as cutting myself. The first time I cut, it was by accident, and it was around the age of 11 or 12, and I accidentally cut myself with something sharp, and when I went to clean it up, I realized that it didn't hurt physically. The cut didn't hurt. I didn't feel it. But watching my blood come out, that made me feel better somehow, and I didn't understand. I didn't understand at that time why that would make me feel better. I didn't even know that that was a disorder. I was only 12, and I had no idea that people did that until I went to school, and I heard people talking about it. And then I realized, oh my God, this is like bulimia. This is like starving yourself and anorexia. It's a shameful act, but it's a behavior, and for some people it's their only coping skill when they're hurting inside so deep that they have to release their pain some other way. It's so hard to explain to people that don't understand, because they look at you and they say, oh, that's crazy. How can you hurt yourself like that? That's disgusting. You know, you're trying to kill yourself. It's not suicide. It's not a suicide attempt. However, some people who are attempting suicide may be cutting part of it, might be cutting before the attempt or after the attempt, just to numb themselves out, because that's what it does. It's almost like a drug. For most people, it happens with females or males. It's commonly for female due to sexual abuse. There's a main percentage is females who are sexually abused, who self-injure, who cut themselves. When you cut, of course, you're going to have scars. It depends how deep you go, whether or not you have a scar that's going to be there forever, or if it's going to be there for a little bit when it heals. But for people like me, I keep it covered. I don't want people to know about it. I don't want people to know that I go that route in coping with my life, because it's not healthy. It's not healthy at all. And in this video, I'm going to try my hardest to share with everyone and educate people, whoever watches this, what self-injury is and how cutting helps relieve the tension and emotional strain of life and the difficulties that you have in life. I am also going to read a poem from my book that basically describes everything about cutting. This was one of my first poems that I ever wrote before I published my book. So I'm going to read that now, and hopefully that will help explain. And then at the end, I'll explain a little more about it and how cutting has affected my life, and where I am now with it, and what kind of disorder and disease and names that they have called this disorder, this behavior. A glass falls from the shelf and breaks. As I clean the shards up, I hesitate. I think how easy it would be to slide a shard across my arm. Not too much damage, just a little self-harm. I remember how that would feel, a complete feeling of control and calmness, nothing left to deal. Seeing my pain fall to the ground, sorrow and guilt no longer surround. What am I feeling inside? Anger and emptiness collide. To feel control of my pain, pure happiness I long to obtain. This hurts so bad and so deep. At night I am unable to sleep. I try to explain, but I don't want to show my pain. I just want to erase it with one simple slit. A mark that will heal in a week, that I can hide under my sleeve. A mark that tells a story, that reminds me of a battle, a long-fought fight of a past coming to a crumble. A cutter's lullaby will always haunt me. Good night, sleep tight to the girl I yearn to be. The blade I hold so close to my skin. Lord, I know that this is a sin. Please forgive me, I need to release. My pain and guilt, just understand, please. Okay, now I rest with my hurt pouring out. Oh God, I shout. Help me move on from this disorder of hurt. I lie awake with a blood-stained shirt. My memories and anger are written on my arm. I am the inflictor of my own harm. God, please forgive me, for I have sinned. So that poem kind of dives into the deepness of the feeling of using that as a coping skill. Cutting, cutting just recently, I have found out, is now even in elementary schools. Young kids are starting to cut. Now, whether it be because they're using it as a coping skill like I did while I was a kid, or if they're in this, they call it the goth. I don't understand it, but some kids and girls are doing that just to follow their friends. It's a peer pressure thing, but it's starting in elementary schools now. It's going from, I'm going to say the first one I heard about was in 6th grade, and that's only the beginning of middle school. I mean, we got to get people to understand and educate the teachers in these schools and the counselors in these schools. They need to reach out, and there should be an outreach program for kids and teens and anybody that is engaging in this self-harm. It can be deadly. If one wrong move, and it is deadly. Even though it's not a suicide attempt most times, it could kill you. I have scars that I'll have for the rest of my life. A couple years ago, I got a tattoo to cover up my scars. I guess I can show you right now, just so you, it's not really easy to show, but I covered up with a butterfly and flowers. There's a lot of deep scars in the flowers that you can feel still. There's deep ones in the butterfly that you can feel still. There's some scars right there. There's a scar right there. And also right there. On my ankle, there's a lot of scars. There's a million places to cut, and a lot of people do it, like me, do it to hide it. So it ends up on your ankle underneath a sock. It ends up on your upper thigh so nobody could see it. Cutters, we're tricky. We are. I mean, any way we could do it, we could do it. Just, it's got to stop, though. I mean, there's got to be something that survivors of this can do. We need to educate the parents for the warning signs, to let them know, look, my kid is isolating. My kid isn't talking at the dinner table. My kid's wearing long sleeves, or one of those things you buy at Claire's, the sleeve thing that doesn't attach to your shirt. Something's got to trigger something in these parents' heads to say, hey, my kid is cutting themselves. Let's figure out what the problem is and get it taken care of. Therapy. Therapy may help. Therapy may not help. Medication may not help. It's all in the person's head who's cutting. They need to be ready to stop. It's just like anorexia. It's just like bulimia. It's just like overeating or gambling or anything, or any addiction. It is an addiction. Disorder disease, addiction. It is an addiction, and we need to help stop it. I consider myself that I will always be a cutter. I will always have that behind me. I will always have the scars, and I will always have that chance of relapse, to where if I get into crisis mode, I might use that as a coping skill. But I am working my butt off to learn different coping skills so I don't have to rely on getting the blade. I do not need the blade. I'm worth more than that, and you are too. If you're listening to this and you're a cutter, you are worth more than the behavior of cutting. Find something else to help you. Use a rubber band. I know it sounds completely stupid, but put a rubber band on your wrist, snap it. Don't snap it too hard, because then it'll leave a mark for a couple weeks. In my experience, that happens. But it's not a cut. It's that snap that you want to feel. It's the line that you want to see, and it will help. I know I'm kind of giving ideas here, but they're better than the other idea of cutting. It really is better. Like I said, this is my second video. I am kind of new at this, so I hope you guys understand if I made any mistakes. I had to redo this one once already because my computer acted up. But again, I'm Stephanie Biglin, author of Little Girl Broken. It's available on BarnesandNoble.com, Amazon.com, eBooks, Kindle, TapePublishing.com. I also have a book trailer. You can find the book trailer on my channel on here, YouTube. You can find me on Facebook and Twitter. You can order it directly through me. Just go to Facebook and contact me. It's going for $7.99. Some places online are selling it a little bit cheaper, I heard. But again, this was going over the stigma and the disorder of self-harm. March is Self-Harm Awareness Month, for anyone who didn't know. Orange is the color of the ribbon for March. Yeah, orange is the color of the ribbon for March for Self-Harm Awareness Month. I hope everyone has gotten something positive out of this. I look forward to doing a third video soon. I have to figure out what I'm going to talk about and educate people about. And again, this is Stephanie Biglin, and thank you for listening, and have a good one.